Hi, everyone. Welcome to Commsverse. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'd like to welcome you to a journey through Microsoft Teams development. Please ask your questions throughout today's session, and we'll periodically take breaks to answer them. Thanks for coming, and Joelle, take it away.
Thank you, Laura. Welcome, everyone. On this session, I will explain you how you can extend your Microsoft Teams instance. I will cover most of the available methods, and it does not require you to be a developer, even though the development is in the name of the session. But before we jump into it, I would like to thank to all the sponsors that made this event possible. So if you didn't visit yet their booths, make sure you do it. And a little bit about myself before we get started. So my name is João Ferreira. I'm from Portugal, and I've been working with Sharepoint for the last 8 years, and I've been working with Microsoft Teams since it was released. My main focus is to create and extend these two platforms to create productivity solutions that extend the Microsoft Intelligent Workplace. And on my free time, I spend time working on top of these platforms as well, but not as a professional. So I'm the author of the Hands-on Microsoft Teams book, and I'm the author of 2 blogs around SharePoint and Microsoft Teams topics, and I'm a technical lead at BZ. So in case you've just discovered Microsoft Teams now and you don't know yet what it is, here's a brief resume. Microsoft Teams is the hub for teamwork on Office 365. It's the fastest growing business app that ever existed, and is the place where you will spend most of your day while working. I've seen customers comparing Microsoft Teams to Microsoft Windows as an operating system because they don't need to leave the Teams application throughout the entire day to do their daily tasks on the computer and in the mobile. So before we dig into the available development methods to extend Microsoft Teams, I want to share with you this video that has around 20 years old. I'm not sure if you were able to hear the sound, but this is Steve Ballmer, a former CEO of Microsoft, screaming, "Developers, developers, developers." If you can picture it, and if the times were similar, probably Satya was screaming right now, "Teams, Teams, Teams." So this is the platform to be right now, and this is where everyone is working, especially now during the pandemic, with more than 75 million daily active users. There's a huge potential to extend the platform and to bring new functionalities to Microsoft Teams, and the platform is prepared to receive whatever you want to bring to it. So Microsoft Teams and the extensibility options can be divided into 3 different sections. So we have the App Store, and if we look to this graphic that represents the ability to customize and the time to implement the customization, the App Store, it's at the bottom, and these are the apps that you typically get from Microsoft Teams App Store. Then here we have the Microsoft Power Platform. App Studio and the templates that we will see in a minute. And at the top, we have the apps from scratch. They will take longer to implement, but the sky is the limit in terms of customization. You can do whatever you want if you use this development method. So we will not cover the App Store. It's pretty straightforward. It works like any other app that we have on our mobile phones. It's just a matter of going to the store, searching for the app and installing it. We will jump into this middle tier and we will start with the app templates. So app templates are plug and play experiences that are community driven and are available at GitHub. They allow you to bring extra functionalities to Microsoft Teams with minimal code requirements, and with a few clicks you can get them deployed inside of your tenant. They are secure, they are configurable and extensible. You will have access to the entire source code, so you can adjust and adapt them to your own needs. And the full catalog of templates is available in this URL here. Here is a list of some of the available app templates. There are a lot more now, but I highlight these ones because are the ones that I'm most familiar with. And list search and the HR bot are my favorites, and I will show you how they look like and how and what you can get once you install them. So I will show you how the HR bot looks like and how it works. So once you install it, you will end up getting a bot to which your employees will be able to interact. So they can ask questions to the bot will reply to them, and if something is found, you will be able to connect to an expert that will be in a team of experts. So you will be connecting people that has questions with the HR department without the need for people to go directly or call directly to the HR. So, and in the process, sometimes or most of the times, the bot will be able to answer the questions automatically. So, apart from the bot, this app also has a section with the HR frequently used links that are fully configurable. So you have the possibility to define this, throw all this inside of Microsoft Teams, and your users will have all the information inside of the platform where they are already communicating with their peers. FAQ uses the same principle, and it's a simple bot that brings human interaction into the loop. So it answers the common employee questions about Microsoft Teams deployment, and it could help not just with Teams, but with other product rollouts. Company communicator sends messages to target users inside of Microsoft Teams. This is really useful if you want to spread a message globally across Microsoft Teams. This app will help you to do this. And the one of my favorites, the Microsoft List Search. So as a SharePoint user and a SharePoint developer, I spend most of my day working on SharePoint. I have a lot of information there, but if I want to share something inside of SharePoint, namely list items with users inside of Teams, this is really handy. So I can quickly do a search using this app pick the item that I want to share and send a card with the list item information to the user that I want to, and I can comment. And there's a button visible in the card that allows then the user that receives the card to go to SharePoint directly from here. So it's a really nice app that connects these two platforms together and can save you a lot of time in the process. So FAQs about app templates. So are they secure? Yes, app templates are secure, even though they are available in GitHub. They are maintained, and there are community submissions, and there's not code that go into production without being reviewed to make sure that it's according to the security standards. What would it take to take these apps deployed into my tenant? So each app has different deployment instructions. They come with the detailed deployment instructions, and they take minutes to deploy, and the requirements are different from each one of these apps. But if you are not an administrator of the platform and an administrator of Azure, most likely you will need your IT to deploy the app for you, because even though it's already done, there's a lot of components that need to be used, and to which you have to get the appropriate permissions to be able to deploy the components there. Can everyone deploy these app templates? As I said, typically organizations have their own review process, so it's just a matter of figuring out who is responsible to deploy apps. If you are not the administrator of your infrastructure, most likely the administrators will be able to deploy it. Last FAQ, does these apps cost anything? Well, they are free to use. However, they may incur into Azure consumption, depending on the app and depending of what you will use and the amount of requests that the app will do. So the app, it's free, but be aware that Azure consumption may occur if you use these apps. So I've decided to start with this because this is promoted by Microsoft. The content, it's there already. They are secure. It uses a lot of the components that exist in the Microsoft ecosystem. So if you want to learn more and see more about the Microsoft app templates for Microsoft Teams, have a look at this video. It is available in the Coffee in the Cloud YouTube channel, and it explains really well how to use and how to deploy these app templates inside of Microsoft Teams. So this is one way of extending Teams with something that was already built for you. Now let's start looking into what ways you can extend Microsoft Teams using your own applications. So still in the middle tier, we have the Poweraps. And Poweraps are part of this huge Power Platform that now has these 4 applications: Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. The last 3 will help you to extend a lot Microsoft Teams if you want to. Power BI can be embedded into Microsoft Teams, and you can consume data through Teams using Microsoft Power BI as well. But Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents will allow you to build your own apps and your own workflows and your own bots without writing a single line of code. So This low-code approach allows you to build apps with this drag and drop philosophy. So you can build them for tablet or for mobile, or you can adjust them specifically for Microsoft Teams. But what is great about the Power Platform is that wherever you already have built, and you have built over the last years, that this platform is available, all of a sudden it's also a Microsoft Teams app, and you will be able to easily add it inside of Microsoft Teams, and it will work as it does in your browser or in your mobile device. So this is really easy to use, and you can in reality supercharge your teams using this type of app. So here are a few examples of how Power Apps are being used inside of Microsoft Teams. Here is an example of the Tacoma Public School District. Lauren Taylor built this app without having any technical knowledge to improve the reading classes. The American Red Cross also have its own app that was built using the Power Platform to control the supplies. And this is the big takeaway that you should take from this section. So every Power App is a Teams app, and you can easily reuse what you already have. So in order to make sure that you take the best out of each Power App, I will show you how you can add a Power App to Microsoft Teams. It's really easy to do. So you just have to select a team where you want to add the app, select the app that you want to add, and then you will be able to add it directly to the team. So let me jump here into my demo environment. So if I go here, I already have the budget tracker Power App that I've just built out of the templates inside of my Teams tenant. And this was added as a tab inside of the team. So I didn't mention this, but on Microsoft Teams, you have several different types of apps. You have the personal apps that will show targeted information to you. You can access them through this vertical menu. And then you have the tabs that you can access in the context of your channels, and those will appear as a tab inside of each of your channels. So to add one of these apps, one way of doing it is adding the Power Apps to your team. And from here, you will be able to select one of your available apps. So all the available apps will appear listed here. And seems that this is a bit slow now, but they will this will present a list of everything that you have available. The connection will be made between Power Apps and Microsoft Teams. You don't have to worry about the authentication since you are in the same tenant. The connection will be shared across, and then you will be able to add it to the team. So once you add it, it will be added with the default name of the app, but this can be renamed after you add it to the channel. This is one way of adding the app. The other way it's described here, but since we now have this Power Apps app, there's no need for us to add the app to the app catalog. And if you want to start building your own app, the only thing you have to do is open the Power Apps create your app either from a template or a blank app and import your data from SharePoint or Excel or SQL or whatever data source you want to use. Implement your logic and then bring it to Microsoft Teams. And this way you will be extending the functionalities of the Microsoft Teams platform, and most likely you will not need to write a single line of code. All right, before we move to Power Automate, there's any question?
Joel, they could not see the demo that you did. Were you meaning to share a different screen? You were on that last slide for a minute. I just want to be sure that.
Okay, let me. Can you see my browser, Larry?
Not right now. We see the Power Automate slide.
Okay, sorry for that. Let me know if you can see it right now.
Yes.
All right, I will recap this quickly. So basically, this is the app that I've been talking about. And this is one of the templates available in the Power Apps when you first start the app. To add this to a team or to add any app to your team, what you need to do is to create or to add the Power Apps app. This will bring a list of all your apps. And the only thing you have to do in reality is to select the app that you want to add and hit save. And once you do that, it will create a tab with the same name of the app that you have in the Power Apps. Now I can quickly rename this to event budget. And the app will be exactly the same. So this is how you add the app as a tab inside of one of your channels. And to build one of these apps, the only thing you have to do is really to go to make.powerapps.com. You can start to build your app from blank. You can start from a template. You will be able to import your data from a variety of sources. And once you are happy with the app, it's just a matter of either exporting it and importing it to Microsoft Teams to use it as a personal app, or using the Powerapp app for Teams, bring the Powerapp inside of your channel. All right, so moving on to the Power Automate extensibility part. So this slide is a bit outdated, so it still says Microsoft Flow. This was renamed about a year ago to Power Automate, and this allows you to automate processes, and with it you can also bring your own processes to Microsoft Teams. It's really easy to use. You can combine it with a variety of different platforms. There are more than 200 available connectors and pre-built scenarios inside of the platform, and Microsoft Teams, it's obviously one of them. The Microsoft Teams platform has been receiving more and more options inside of the Power Automate, so you will be able to build a lot of different things. But better than talking about it is to see how it works. So there are two different ways of using Microsoft Flow or Power Automate inside of Microsoft Teams. Like Power Apps, we have a Microsoft Flow and a Microsoft or a Power Automate app inside of Microsoft Teams. But this app was designed just for you to access to your flows or to your approvals. And there's also a bot inside of the app, but this for itself will not bring a lot of functionality, and the automation will not come automatically just by using this. You still have to build your own flows. This is the bot that you can use inside of the Flow app. Once you start using it, you will notice that you have triggers and you have actions. These are just some of the triggers and actions that are currently available for Microsoft Teams. But let's jump into the Power Automate and let's see how it looks like. Last time I checked, Power Automate app was still using the old name inside of Microsoft Teams. It's still called Flow. So if you are trying to look for it, make sure you look for the old name, and you will see the Flow and the old logo of Microsoft Teams. But this is in reality Power Automate. If I add this to this channel, you will see my flows. This is the same thing that I have over here inside of the Power Automate, but instead of using it inside of Teams, it's inside of Power Automate itself. So I have one flow defined here that posts an adaptive card with content from SharePoint whenever an alert is created. So the scenario is that there's an announcement list on SharePoint, a classic announcement list that no one cares about and no one reads. The idea here is to spread the announcement directly to a team using the adaptive card functionality that is built in here. So even though this looks super techy and complicated, this JSON that is available here, it came from a tool that Microsoft has available that allows you to visually build your own adaptive cards. And I will show you also inside of Microsoft Teams something similar that will give you these kind of superpowers. Let me just show you how does it work. So I have here the announcement list. There are a few entries already here, and what I will do right now is type something here. It will never expire. I will hit save. So this item was created. This flow, it's probably running right now. And if I go here and if I open the general of this team, my card similar to this one over here should be arriving at any minute. So let me just go back and let me check. It actually, it's still running. So whenever it finishes running, it will add the card. So let's see how you can build your own automation process and what are the triggers and the actions you have available for the Power Automate. Let me create one blank flow and let me type here Teams. Well, let's skip here and type here Teams. So we have these different triggers for the Microsoft Teams flows when a new channel message is added, when I'm mentioned, or when a new team member is added. All of this is still in preview. It might change, so it's not recommended to make production scenarios on top of stuff that is still in preview. And then we have a lot of actions available. If you look to the post message and post a reply to a message, you will notice that there's a V2 and V3. Over the time, this has evolved and new options were added, which means that this has evolved along with the platform. And even though the app inside of Microsoft Teams does not reflect the updates, it's still called Flow. It is being receiving all the latest and greatest from Microsoft Teams. So you just have to select, let's say that I want to do something when something someone is added to a team. Like we do business as unusual, and now I want to post a welcome message to a user or something like that. So I just need to, or to post a welcome message to the user in the team. So I just need to look for the team. Business as unusual, the general channel, and now I can type my message and I can use the user ID. We will not be able to identify the user by this, but we can use other actions in the process and create variables that will then retrieve the name of the user, and then we can build our own message in here. So this is how you extend and how you bring business processes and flows to the context of Microsoft Teams. So let me just check if it was posted here. It was. So this is how my announcement looks like inside of Microsoft Teams. This is how it looks inside of SharePoint. I prefer this 1,000 times over this. It looks better, it has more information, and most likely I will be here and I will never visit this list inside of SharePoint. All right, so SharePoint and SharePoint Framework. SharePoint and Microsoft Teams are tightly connected. SharePoint is one of the underlayers of Microsoft Teams. There's a lot of data stored on SharePoint, and SharePoint has the SharePoint framework that allow us not only to extend Microsoft Teams, but SharePoint, but also Microsoft Teams. So Teams and SharePoint share the same architecture. They have endless integrations, files, either on our, if we call it OneDrive or SharePoint, it's pretty much all the same thing, and they are available on Microsoft Teams for us to consume. Same thing with news, landing pages, SharePoint lists. All of this can be easily brought to the context of Microsoft Teams with a matter of clicks, and you will be extending it using what is provided to you with the out of the box. So the SharePoint framework, and here we are already in the top level. So we are in the place where we have the full flexibility to customize the platform. And with the SharePoint framework, we will be able to get data from other systems and take advantage of everything that has been developed over the last 4 years by the SharePoint team and by the community. And at the same time, when we compare this with the native Microsoft Teams development processes, we will take advantage of the easy connections to Microsoft Graph, easy integration with lists and files, and with the integration of cloud services. So the SharePoint framework has been having a ton of things that were designed to simplify the life of developers. So if you have a requirement to build something custom and tailored for your Microsoft Teams environment. Have a look at the SharePoint framework before you make your final decision on the development process, because most likely you will find a way of doing it and at the same time sharing it with Teams and other platforms like Outlook. So there are common needs across all these three profiles if you select the SharePoint framework. So end users will have the possibility to get the same functionalities on SharePoint and on Microsoft Teams, wherever they are working, the same content and the same app or interface. It's available. It's available there for them to do their daily tasks. The IT admin will just need to deploy the app once. It's deployed on Microsoft, on SharePoint, and becomes available immediately on Microsoft Teams. And developers don't need to do the code twice. So it's easier for them to make and to update and to evolve the application. So one code will run in multiple platforms, and it's prepared to give you the context of SharePoint or Teams, depending on where the app is running. So here is an example of SharePoint framework inside of Microsoft Teams. This runs as an iframe. And the context of SharePoint, it's inside of this tab. Like the Powerapp and Flow, the authentication goes seamlessly through the SharePoint to Microsoft Teams. There's a single sign-on implementation of the authentication that you can reuse, and the users will never have to add their credentials. And even though the tabs are being displayed inside of this frame, they are in reality hosted inside of SharePoint, but you will not notice any of that. So this is one of the key advantages. The graph integration is pre-built. There's already an app built on Azure that is ready for you to consume. You just need to click on the approve button for whatever permission you need to grant on SharePoint. Obviously, it needs to be done by the SharePoint admin, but through SharePoint, you will be able to consume graph information and display it inside of Microsoft Teams without the need to host your own app on Azure, handling the authentication and handling the hosting of your app. All of that will be handled by the SharePoint framework. So we are running out of time, so this is an example of how things are developed, but I would like to show you how the app runs. So just to mention that this runs inside of a SharePoint page called webart.aspx. If you try to access this page inside of SharePoint, you will not see anything. So this page will only work inside of Microsoft Teams, and it has all that is necessary to do the authentication and all of those good things. So let me just switch here to my browser just to show you how this is deployed inside of SharePoint and how it becomes immediately available to Teams. I will open here my SharePoint app catalog, and I've built a game for Microsoft Teams. I did it during the pandemic to have some fun at work with my colleagues instead of going to the pub and drinking beers after the workday. We were playing Snake online. So if I look here for Snake, and if I select this app, this was built for SharePoint and for Microsoft Teams, but it's just being used on Teams. And if I click here on Files, you will see this button here. This is what installs a SharePoint app inside of Microsoft Teams. And if I go here to this business as unusual, and if I click on the snake tab, this will render my snake game. And if I start playing it, this is nothing more than a classic snake game. This is great, but there's some logic behind it other than the game. There's a limit of plays that you can have during a day, and there's a leaderboard setting. So even though the app is being consumed in Teams, the information about the number of plays and the information about the leaderboard, it's actually stored inside of SharePoint. So we've built the app for Teams, but the information is coming from SharePoint. And as I told you, it's not because it was built using SharePoint that is not aware of the context. So if I change the theme of the Microsoft Teams, the game also adjusts, and now I'm able to play the same game with a different Microsoft Teams theme. All right, so there's any question about this process now that we are reaching the end of the session?
There aren't any questions in the queue right now. If anybody has any, go ahead and type them in.
All right, so we still have a few minutes left, and I want to make sure I cover all the extensibility ways for Microsoft Teams. Obviously, Teams came with its native development process. You can build tabs using the Microsoft Teams SDK, and you can use the Yeoman generator for Microsoft Teams instead of using the Sharepoint framework. But you will have to host the app yourself. Even though this scenario, it's not the one that I like the most and the one that I've seen being used the most, this is still the only way that you can publish apps to the store. This will change soon, but this is still the only way for you to make the app available. And the good thing about it is that even though you are developing using the Microsoft Teams tools to extend Teams, and I have also here another example that I will have to change here the theme to the default. Somewhere here, I have a to-do list that was built using the Microsoft Teams available SDK. So this was built for Microsoft Teams specifically. But the good thing about this, and probably you don't know it, is that any Microsoft Teams app, it's also a SharePoint app. So even though they are packaged in a different way, and they are bundled inside of a zip file, if you upload them inside of SharePoint, you will be able to use it on both as well. So this allows me to type my to-dos for the day, and same thing can be done in this app for Microsoft for SharePoint. So just to wrap up, let me go to the last slide where I have the top 10 reasons to use SharePoint Framework and why it matters. I will not go through all of them, but I want to highlight the number one. There's no need for you to host the app. The SharePoint Framework will take care of that. You can reuse it the code can be reused. Number 6, it's also a very good one if you want to build something tailored and if you want to take advantage of all the intelligent capabilities of Microsoft Graph and the SharePoint APIs. And last but not least, and one of the most important, you have the entire 4 years of experience of the SharePoint community. So if you have a problem with something, go to GitHub, reach to someone from the community, and I'm sure that in a matter of hours, someone will come back to you and you will be able to proceed. This is one of the best communities that I've been working with, and you can really leverage the power of the community to extend Microsoft Teams using the SharePoint framework. Obviously, now we are all a huge community and Teams and the SharePoint community overlaps. And this is not exclusive just to the SharePoint community, but if you consider to extend SharePoint, if you consider to extend Microsoft Teams using code, consider to use the SharePoint framework if you don't need to publish your app to the store. All right, so 2 minutes after the hour, I just want to leave here my contacts in case you want to reach out after the session. You can send me an email or get in touch through one of my blogs, Ends on SharePoint or Ends on Teams, and I will be glad to get back to you with whatever questions you may have about this session. All right, Laurie, I don't know if we have any other question.
Yeah, there was a question. Do you have templates created and shared somewhere for the apps and flows that you showed?
I don't have them, but if you reach me through my email, I can share them with you.
Perfect. All right, that was the only question. So thank you everybody for attending today. We certainly appreciate you being here. And if you have any questions, we'll keep this meeting open for a couple more minutes. Go ahead and type them in there and we'll get back to you. Have a great rest of your event at Commsverse, and we'll see y'all later.
Thank you, everyone.